Hello, everyone, and good morning from Eindhoven. Today, I'm in a place that it's a kind of unusual to me because I'm visiting a tool shop that produces parts that are quite different from the typical automotive parts and so from the typical tool shop that I visited till now. Today, I'm with Phoenix 3D Metal, and here with me I have Bernard that he will introduce himself and the company. Would you tell us about Phoenix?
Yeah, okay. My name is Bernard van der Poel. I'm responsible for the sales here. I'm a co-owner as well. Yeah, we are a sheet metal company who produces sheet metal parts for various industries. So we do automotive, but then the special parts for automotive. We do parts for agriculture, for healthcare, for food, and we do it with a special technique. So it's called rubber pad forming. So,
Okay. If I have to ask you, what really sets you apart from the typical, let's say, automotive tool supplier?
well, it's mainly our volumes. So we are producing parts in low volume. And low volume is more or less from an annual quantity from 300 parts per year until up to 10,000 parts a year. So, and all what's in between, yeah, we can produce. And we use various materials also and material thicknesses. So we produce parts in sheet metal, of in steel, stainless steel, aluminium, and then from 0.5 to 3 millimeters thickness.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so it sounds to me that this is a quite challenging, let's say, type of business, right?
yeah.
What are the challenges that you have to face every day, basically?
Main challenge is, of course, that it's low volume. So you have to produce the parts the first time right, because if you have parts which are not okay, then it's really costing directly your money. So
Yeah.
in case of, in terms of profit, so to say, and in turnover, you need to produce the parts, the first time right. And that's because it's all different types of businesses, different market segments, it's all have their own demands, so to say. So it's that's the most challenging, I guess.
Yeah. So no room for mistakes. You're
No,
telling
no,
me.
not really. No.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good to know. Well, I think that the industry is going into this direction. I mean, it's becoming challenging and challenging even more and more. You talked about the low volume to
Yeah.
be, how to say, competitive and to address your market. How do you determine this? It's just a question.
Why did we go in this low volume market, so to
Yeah.
say? Yeah. Well, it's a long time ago. In 1989, we saw that the market was shifting. So the big volumes went to Asia. So we had to think of something to do, some different technique and make us unique again in this. So then we were looking for producing parts in low numbers. So and then we discovered this technique. We discovered rubber pad forming, and we turned it into a technique which can be used in all different market segments. So a little bit like we use it kind of like deep drawing.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
yeah the main yeah low volume sheet metal.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then,
Yeah. All different kind of materials also.
yeah. And rubber pad forming is really into the low volume, so to say.
Okay, okay. We talked about, challenges, let's say that. Now, my question is to you is, what is, can you show us, or can you give us an idea of the typical process when you get the part from, your potential customer, let's say, how you move on from that point?
Yeah. But normally we get a 3D file, mostly a step. We work with SolidWorks, and our engineers start working with that file. So they develop the tool more or less, and then we use AutoForm to see what's going on if the project is feasible. So, and we use it really before we have any order. So we use it also as a kind of sales tool, so to say, because we want to, because our technique is rather unfamiliar to engineers and designers, we need to be sure that we produce a part which is really feasible to give the customer trust that we can produce the part in the end. So, and therefore we use AutoForm as well to show them about spring back and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So you tell me that really you start simulating since the planning basically, or even both for the bidding phase basically.
Yeah, before the
To prove that actually the part is feasible,
Yeah.
and that you can also kind of estimate the right cost for the bidding
Exactly.
to your
So
company.
how many
That's
prototypes
crucial.
do we need? Yes. Yeah, that's
And,
exactly what it
that's
is.
for that.
Yeah.
And then you use the software along the whole process, right? So for the drawing station, mainly that's what you simulate, right? And then all the other station trimming or laser cutting or
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
So you do the complete process, and after the part is, if the inquiry becomes an order, so to say, then we start go more into depth to really get the details in the right place and make sure that the product is really nice, so to say, so that it's really good producible.
Another question is, in my past, I dealt with people that had to apply or ask for some changes in the part to make it a little bit more feasible. Also, sometimes to reduce the cost of manufacturing.
Yeah.
Did this happen to you?
Yeah, it's one of the main drivers, so to help the customers to get the part as cheap as possible and really good feasible. And those two items go together, so to say. So if you have a really good feasible product, it mostly also is produced in the cheapest way. So and now these days people are really onto the cost at the moment. So it's really important to be able to predict how the part is produced and to get it really good feasible.
Another question is that I try to put myself in the customer's shoes.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly this kind of technique. I'm more used to have a typical stamping process. How can you convince me really that this process is going to work? And you're going to deliver parts in quality on time.
Yeah, that's why we use AutoForm to convince the customer. We really take him with us into our process. So explaining what is happening, explaining the pictures we get from AutoForm, out of the software, so to say. We make pictures and then we tell them, our engineers of course, who go deeper into the technique, but tell them what's happening and what do you see in this specific picture, what is and why things need to change or can be better, or so that's what we really try to do, and also take them into our factory, show them what parts we produce already for which customers and so on. So
that's a great user, because so I can see that it's really helpful, this simulation already at the really first steps basically of the process, at the first really first stages. So for the moment, thank you very much, Bernard. I think that we will be back. We will go a little bit deeper because I want to know more about what you guys doing here. And so just stay tuned, because you're going to get more on Phoenix 3D Metal and AutoForm. Thank you for watching.
thank you.